So I want to talk about how you're stressing yourself out unintentionally. You are. Most of us are doing something, especially with the phones, that is unintentionally stressing ourselves out. We're looking at our phones way too much because the dopamine, motivates us to go get something because we're going to get a reward, and we're very addicted to them. Most of us, if you're honest. Me might be one of the few that are not, but it's pretty prevalent now. And so what happens when you have no regulation, you don't watch your behavior around it, your brain produces dopamine overload. I think I have a video about this. And your brain says, oh my God, I got too much dopamine in my brain. I have to regulate and balance it out by producing more anxiety and depression. So this is a real scientific thing. And a lot of us are doing it. So I highly recommend to check that out and just observe your behavior and maybe try to curtail a little bit, and then notice how you feel calmer. The input in your mind is super, super important. Whatever you're listening to, you're watching, and times that how often you do it and when do you do it. If you watch a series or a movie that has violence or is disturbing, which is the majority of them, and then you're going to sleep, that's marinating in your subconscious. Your subconscious is totally literal. It's like a kid. It doesn't know what's true and what's not. And it can cause problems in your sleep and the next day with anxiety, all right? I invite you to maybe test this out and see, and maybe try to don't watch that fun series that you like every single night and then wonder why you're not going to have good sleep and have anxiety. And then also when you get up in the morning, it's a bad idea to listen to something negative and disturbing right away, like listening to the news in the morning. It's like the worst thing you could do, okay? I mean, all about being informed, for sure, and watching, good news that you can depend on. But, middle of the day or later on in the day, not before you go to bed and not right when you wake up, okay? Those things alone. The people around you, are they positive? Are they do they complain a lot? Do they judge a lot? Okay, even if they're not doing it towards you, well, if they're complaining and judging a lot, they're probably doing it towards you too. They do it to themselves all the time too. That's why they're doing it all the time. I do the same thing. When I loved myself less, when I had less self-love, before I cultivated, really focused on cultivating self-love through meditation and mindfulness, all kinds of breath work and everything, until I had that, yes, I fell into the judging and criticizing all the time. It's what we grow up with, right? That can stress you out, right? When someone's around you like that all the time, or the way you're talking in your brain and judging yourself and the way you talk to yourself and making yourself feel guilty and shame about, something in the past because you didn't know any better. All of this stuff, all the thoughts and the things that we put in our brains, what we're seeing, what we're hearing, stresses us out, all right? And if you take an inventory, I invite you to maybe write a list of these things I talk about, and maybe you'll come up with others, and just, kind of reflect. Oh, she said this and this and this. Yeah, I do all those things, and I do have anxiety and having a hard time sleeping or whatever, okay? There's a lot more on the list, but that just writing a list of the things that make you feel stressed. I talk about anxiety too, things that make you anxious. Write a list of all the things that when you think about, yes, that situation would make me anxious. Yes, that person or whatever. Same with emotional triggers. You can do the same kind of thing. And evaluate what you're doing to yourself and what you are unintentionally doing, stressing yourself out by not having enough awareness and enough mindfulness around this. And this is mindfulness, okay? Being aware, being self-aware of your thoughts and how it's affecting your sensations in your body and how you're responding to other people. This is all mindfulness, and you can get it, get training with meditation and practice doing this. And then your emotional intelligence actually goes up, and because you're just more aware and you take care of yourself more, and therefore you have more empathy for the other person. You forgive yourself for things in your life, and then it's easier to forgive others. Okay, but it's just a practice, a new way of life, a new way of thinking. But when you can look at that list and what's stressing yourself out, you will see you can move towards this way of living that helps you regulate your emotions, have more control over your thoughts, and not just trigger and have emotional trigger and just react all the time, because you're taking more accountability and responsibility for your own behaviors in your life and your thinking and your habits, right? If you have any questions, please contact me.